Today's lesson is called Factoring Complex Trinomials. Here's what this lesson's like. Video game people. You battle through all the little easy boards, and then at the end you get to the boss. You're like, oh. And it takes a bunch of tries to get through this thing. Or, in a Marvel type movie, they deal with all the little minions first. And then at the end, Ultron comes out and you're like, this is the one. Yeah? Of all year, actually. Now, I don't want you to be scared. It's quite possible that as I go through and explain this, you go, I got this. It's going to be okay. But I need you to pay attention to everything I say here and really lock in on what this is all about. The title's got it right in there. It says it, factoring. When we switch to red and circle it to work on getting your full attention, factoring complex trinomials. I'm only going to change one little thing, and it makes things way harder. The grade 11s struggle with this who don't pay attention and get this taken care of. Get this taken care of. Find your own way and get this done. Learning goal, factor a trinomial of the form ax squared plus bx plus c, where a equals 1, and a is not a common factor. Ooh, where a little mistake there. Fix this. Where a, put a little line through the equals. Not equal to 1. Cannot have a equal to 1 for it to be a complex trinomial. If it's equal to 1, it's a simple trinomial. Today, it's got to be complex. Mr. Todd, I'm not sure what you mean by that. I know. I'm going to teach you today. You'll see on the next page. I'm going to rewind for a second and cover something that maybe wasn't covered well enough that we're going to need today. Group factoring, sometimes called in some texts factor by grouping. I've heard it called both things, but factor by grouping. It doesn't have to be 4 terms, but for you, it's probably going to be 4 terms. When you see 4 terms, this is when you do factor by grouping. Difficult to see that it's coming. Maybe you're starting to see one of the problems of this chapter is just choosing what way to do it. I've got a lesson called reasoning coming up. Reasoning is just like, how do I decide which of these methods to use? That's coming up too. For now, I'll show you the different methods. If you want, it's like building a house. I'm teaching you how to use a hammer. Then I'm teaching you how to use a saw. Then I'm teaching you how to use a power saw. And then there'll be one day it's like, okay, but which tool do I use for what? Yeah, that's coming up. All right. Anyways, without further ado, factoring by grouping. With factoring by grouping, you look at the first pair and the second pair, and each pair you look for a different common factor. You just common factor the first 2. That's a little different. So look at 7x squared and 28x and look and see if you can find the common factor in those 2. What number divides into both 7 and 28, Chris? 7. And is there x's I can take? There's x squared and x. So yes, I can take an x out. 1 power of x. Then you look and go, just in the first 2, what's left of those first 2 terms if I divide 7x out? If I take 7x out of the first term, I get x. And if I take 7x out of 28x, I get 4. And you do that whole procedure again with the second pair. So you look at negative 8x minus 32, and you go, what divides into both negative 8 and negative 32? And I tried to mention yesterday, when you see a negative on that leading term, on that negative 8, take the negative with you. That's how things are going to work out better for you. What divides into the biggest number that divides into both 8 and 32? Negative 8 divides into both those. And he took the negative with him. And if factor by grouping works, what you get in the second bracket is the same as what you got in the first bracket. See, it comes out to x plus 4. That's when you take a deep breath and go, factor by grouping is going to work when that happens. Because now you can look at the 2 sets and go, wait a minute, there's a common factor. It really is a common factor, and I'll underline it in a different color. There's a common factor in both of these pieces. And I can take that out and go, oh, there's a common factor between these of x plus 4. If I take that out, the first piece, 7x bracket x plus 4, only has a 7x left. And the second piece, I took the x plus 4 out, only has minus 8 left. That should be pushing the edges of your brain right now. That's what we're up to here. Reminds me of when you go to do a workout or push-ups the first time. You go, okay, yeah, I can do 10, no problem. It's 15, 16, and you're like 17, 18, however many you can do. You're like, oh, that's pushing right at the edge. This should be pushing right at the edge of what you get. So if you're your brain's sort of swimming a little now, you're like, yeah, that's right. It's tough. Let's try it again for this one. Common factor, the first pair. Yeah. So I look at x squared minus 5x, and I pull anything common. There's no common constant. There's no number to pull out. But there's x squared and 5x, so I can pull an x out, because they both have a power of x at least. And what's left? Now I need your help a little bit more to make sure your common factoring is okay. X minus 5. That's just for the first pair. This is weird common factoring when it's factoring by grouping, because I just do the common factor in the first set. Then I look at the second set, and I look and go, okay, what divides into both 3x and into 15? 3. And I pull that out, and when this goes right, the second bracket's the same as the first bracket, the bracket part of it. That's when you take a deep breath and go, oh, factoring by grouping is going to work, because what came out was the same. This is the part people usually have trouble with. No, it depends. If you just, when I pull back and just look at that, I can see the two pairs now. I can see it. But maybe you can't yet. But what's common to both these, and I'll underline it in red again, is the x minus 5. They both have an x minus 5 in them. So I can pull the x minus 5 out front. What's left of the first piece when I pull out x minus 5? Well, oh yeah, he's already got both pieces. You just, what's left of that? Yeah, but again, it might be that when I first taught this and you first did in the homework, like, I don't get it at all, and it took the second time. And get ready for that in math. No matter how smart you are, there's some things that when you first see them in math, you're like, oh, I only kind of get it. And then the second time through, you're like, wait a minute, now I got a chance. I'm starting to get it now. But let's not wait till later in the lesson to see if you don't got it. Here, you try these two. I don't think they're necessarily any harder. There's a little trick to each one. Each one has a little curveball to it. So if it doesn't go perfect, that's okay. But try those two out yourself and see where you're at with this. Good or bad? Let's see where we're at. What did I give? 1 minute each yesterday? 1 minute each? Yeah, maybe a little more. 3 minutes total. 3 minutes total between the two to see what you can do. Oh, my timer's not working. Okay, I'll fight with my watch. Make sure my microphone's working. Yes, sir. Yes, you're right. Something went wrong there. I'll fix that up. Thank you. That's funny after yesterday, me saying I'm going to start marking equal signs, and then I messed mine up on there. But thank you for that.
Oh, to negative 5, and this can be a plus case. And then you can get this. Does it matter which
bracket? Which bracket goes first?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. The way I taught it, you might think that the bracket had to be first, the way I presented it, but you might see it the other way. You might go, no, I can see the x plus 3, and then you write it the other way around. And the way to remember that is like, what's 5 times 6?
30.
What's 6 times 5? 30. Multiplication's friendly like that. You can multiply things in whichever order you want. So, and it applies here. You can put the factors in either way, and they come out to the same thing. Was that 3 minutes? My watch was messing up. I couldn't do a 3-minute timer. Anyways, watching the video, he's going to come back after the 3 minutes and go, you didn't give him 3 minutes. Okay, I'll do it, but I'll get some help. I hear you being chatty, and that means I think we're ready to start. Oh, you're not ready? Okay, yeah. I want you to have the time, because we need this and as the lesson goes on. We need to be like, it doesn't have to be perfect. And be like, I sort of get it. I sort of am getting it. That's where we need to be.
You don't have a factor.
Stay. Stay. Woo! Did you see my math shirt I'm wearing? You might not really get it. It's just for the grade 11s. I've got a math shirt for you guys. Desmos? Oh yeah, we did do on Desmos ones that approach the axis but don't get there. So yeah. And do you know who this is? My grandpa. It says, "You shall not pass." Yeah, Gandalf. Are you ready? Common factor. What's the common factor? Who wants it? Common factor in the first pair. 2x. Oops. X plus 5. Here's the curveball. What's the common factor in the second set? Negative 5. Take the negative. If that first term's got negative, take it with you. That is fabulous advice. That's the kind of advice you're paying me for. A lot of this stuff you could watch on the internet, but that advice is big. If the first term has a negative, take it with you, and then you get x plus 5 in the brackets. The bracket's common in both, and so I get x plus 5 and 2x minus 5. How was it? Nods? Thumbs up? Hard. Give yourself credit. Yeah, there's times when you're hard on yourself for not getting what you things, and then there's times to go, hey, good. If you're going to be hard on yourself, then good. Be good to yourself too. All right, this one has a little curveball. Common factor, 4x, x plus 6, plus 1. We didn't normally common factor off 1, but this time, 1's for, I don't see a common factor. So the best I can do is take a 1 out. Then I get the x plus 6. So that's my other curveball that might happen to you. And so you get x plus 6 and 4x plus 1. What if you wrote that and you're like, I don't know if it's right? Yeah. Yeah.
Because then you don't have another term.
Yeah, you don't have that second term. Yeah. That's a weird one. But let's say you weren't sure. You're like, I don't know if it's right. It feels weird. What could you do to check if it's right? Yeah, just FOIL it back out. That's why people sometimes like factoring so much. Like, even if I got it wrong, I can check and make sure in like 2 seconds by foiling. Okay? It's good? That's the warm-up. That's like, okay, do you have the basics of what you need for the tough part of this lesson? Now, yesterday's stuff, in case you didn't do your homework. I'm not going to tell you. You tell me. What should you be thinking? Did my homework, people? How about this?
So easy.
It's so easy. That's what you should be thinking, yes. Well, I hope it's easy. What am I looking for? Multiply to 20, but add to negative 9. And the more experience with these you get, the less the negative is going to cause you a problem because you already know what's coming. If you were inexperienced, you might start listing them. You might go, well, let's see. 1 and 20 multiplies to 20, but that doesn't add to negative 9. And maybe there's a hint already, like this is never going to work. I'm never going to get negatives out of positives. And you might switch over, but maybe not. Maybe inexperienced, you'd go, well, how about 2 and 10? That multiplies to 20. Does that add to 9? No. 3, oh, that's not going to work at all because 3 doesn't multiply with anything to give 20. That's a nice whole number. which asks the question, what do we do if it doesn't work? Okay, well, let's not worry about that for now. For now, we'll do ones that work, okay? And then ones that don't work, we'll leave for next chapter, okay? I got a plan. Then 4. Now you see, if you're having trouble with these, see what I did? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's called a systematic approach. Like, I'm going to get the answer. It might take a while, but I'll get it. 4 and, let's see, 4, 20 divided, okay, what if these are, my multiplication tables aren't good, Mr. Todd. 20 divided by 4 equals, your calculator can help, you get 5. 4 plus 5 is not negative 9, but it is positive 9, making you go, oh, okay, I'm okay. And I think somebody who did this on the board yesterday just went up and they just immediately put negatives in front of both and just said, okay, then I know it's negative 4 and negative 5. Could you write x minus 5, x minus 4 instead? Yes. Same thing. We go again. One more easy one. 2 numbers that multiply to 4 and add to 4. So easy it's hard. 2 and 2? And I'm going to do that as an example of, do you have to use my systematic approach? No, if you look at it and you know what the numbers are, just jump in and get it taken care of. So then it's x plus 2 and x, whoa, come on now. You're not laughing at me on the board anymore, are you? After a few people went up there and went, this pen doesn't work quite as easy as you think it does. X plus 2, x plus 2. Oh, I could do a little better. You don't have to write it like this, but you could write this differently. Does anyone know another way you could write x plus 2 times x plus 2? X plus 2 all to the power of 2. And that'll mess you up a little bit when you're foiling. A couple people on the test ran into that where they just squared each piece, and you can't. You got to write it out and FOIL it all out. It doesn't work just squaring the individual terms. Okay. I'll put a line here. Today's lesson really starts here. 2x squared minus 26 minus 60. What should I look for first in all questions? Does anyone have any ideas on what I should always look for in any question in this chapter? This is me starting to teach reasoning. The reasoning lesson, like, okay, but which method do I use when? What do you think you should do first? Ellie, any ideas? She's so smart. Look for a common factor first. Mostly because it'll get the number smaller. Why don't we, if we're going to have to do this, let's at least do it with the smallest numbers we can. Is there a common factor to 2, 26, and 60? 2 is easy to find when you're looking for 2. 3 is not quite so easy. But when you're looking for 2, even numbers, 2 is always going to go. So I common factor out of 2. And when I divide each of these by 2, I get x squared minus 13x minus 30. And then I have my simple trinomial. What if it doesn't common factor? Well, that's why you came today. I'm on my way to deal with that. But sometimes it does. It common factors. And now you've got your simple trinomial. 2 numbers that multiply to negative 30, but add to negative 13. Those of you who are really clever and think you know your multiplication tables so well, this might be now pushing the edge a little bit where it doesn't necessarily come to you right away. And that's why I have my system over here. 1, negative 30. That multiplies to negative 30, but doesn't add to negative 13. 2, okay, 2 to negative 30. Maybe that's not even in the multiplication tables, is it? You might need your calculator. 30 divided by 2 in your calculator, negative 15. I can do it in my head, but only because I've been here for a million years. So all those basic math facts are in there, not because I'm brilliant, just because I've done them a zillion times. Does that add to negative 13? Yes, it does. Okay, so those of you who found them really easy yesterday, be aware you might need this strategy as the numbers get bigger. Okay, so I get 2 bracket x plus 2, x minus 15. Well, let's not wait around till later in the lesson to see that you're having trouble. You try this one. It's got a curveball in it. You check it out. See what you can do.
Oh, it doesn't. I see.
If you need a hint, just wait another 30 seconds and I'll do the first step for you. If you're like, I can't do it, just wait a second and I'll do the first step for you. 30 seconds, I said, right? Wait 30 seconds. I need something to help me wait, because I'm not a great waiter. This will help me wait. I'll do 2 steps of this. That's disturbing. Are you getting your math test back today? Yes, unless I teach too long and run out of time. That's basically what happened yesterday. By the time I got everything done I was supposed to do,
7 doesn't divide by anything, right?
I hear you arguing back and forth, and that's good mathematics. When you got saying to somebody else, no, it's a 2, no, it's a 7, what about a 3? Yeah, that's good mathematics when that's happening. Yes, ma'am.
Is there supposed to be an X beside
Oh, misprint. Ooh, let me rewrite that for you. There's supposed to be this. Supposed to be an X there. Good catch. Thank you. If that was messing you up, I apologize. Maybe you automatically wrote it in there. Maybe you're like, oh, I know what this is supposed to be, and you already did it. Yeah. My apologies. I didn't even notice that. Extra time. I'll reset your clock. Maybe you did it with the other one, and you're like, okay, now I got to restart because.
I haven't even gotten an answer yet.
It's the same.
There. That's better. Jeez. And that goes there. That's better. Did I give you enough time? What's the common factor here? -3. Can it be done by pulling the positive off? Yes, but it's messy. It's a disaster. You're not going to love it. Take the negative. Get rid of negativity in your life. Yes? Stay positive. And then this. 2 numbers that multiply to -18 but add to 7. 9 and 2. So again, I did this one a little faster to go, yes, I give you permission. If you just know the numbers, it happens quickly. Great, I love it. Yeah, good. Okay, any questions there? Nuh-uh. What happens if A... Ooh. Ooh. What happens if A is not equal 1 and it doesn't common factor? AB? Yes. Decomposition. You've heard the word. All right. Oh, yeah. Does it mean the same thing? Yeah, but no. Like, that's not going to help you. It gives you the word, so you're like, I'm not used to the word, but it's not going to help you do it. Yeah, you did decomposition in science, but it's not the same. It's not the same? I wish that helped, but it doesn't. AB, we're good? It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We'll be all right. Here we go. All right. Now, to do these, I think there's at least 6 or 7 actual methods to do it. Okay? So if you don't like my first method, I'm going to show 2 others today. I've chosen what I think are the best 3 ways to handle these. If none of those work for you, we can explore the internet and try and find other ones. But I encourage you to really try these 3 first. I'm giving you 3 ways to handle this. Don't worry about what method 1 says. I'm going to teach this, but I'm putting it up there first so you know what the plan is. The plan is common factor if possible. Okay, always try first to save yourself a lot of trouble by finding the common factor first. Okay, if not, no? No common factor? This will sound mysterious. It's okay, I'm going to explain it all. Find two numbers that multiply to AC and add to B. What? Yeah, I'm going to show you. Rewrite B as the sum of the two numbers found above. Huh? Group factor the first two terms and the last two terms, and then factor the common binomial. What are you talking about? Here we go. Here come the steps. Lock in. Yes? If you've been asleep, been dreaming about lunch, looking outside the sun, I should pull the blinds down, shut everything down. We're in lockdown mode. Find AC. You go off to the side here and you write AC. We're going to find AC. Now this is where these letters, these codes are important. You may have to write over here, you may have to go, okay, that's A, that's B, and that's C. I should mention, there's no common factor here. There's no number that divides into 3, 8, and 4. So what's AC? 3 times 4. 3 times 14. Mr. Todd, pull it together. 3 times 4, which is 12. Now, here we're going to do the same thing we did in the other ones. Find two numbers that multiply to this 12, but add to this B, this 8. Seems mysterious. She's already got them, 6 and 2. And if your multiplication tables are good, this will go, that's part of it will go very quickly. If they're not, I encourage you maybe to get an app on your phone and just start working on your multiplication tables. Get them a little more like this. Because you might not have been as fast as her. You might have to go 1 and 12. No, that doesn't add to 8. 2 and 6. Oh, that does add to 8. We often circle them when we're doing decom. We go, okay, I got them. 2 and 6. And what you do with 2 and 6, and write it just like I write it for your example. Write it right under here and go, okay, so I'm going to rewrite this thing as 3x squared plus 6x plus 2x. I'm going to take the 8x and break it into the perfect pair, 2x and 6x. I went 6 first and 2 second. I'm not doing a trick there. I'm just saying, whichever way around, this will work. Then, after that, you're just doing factoring by grouping. Look for the common factor to this set. What's common to 3x squared and 6x? 3. X. And then what's left in the brackets after I pull out 3x? X plus 2. Good. And then common factor the second set. What's common to 2x and 4? Usually the second set's easier. That's what I find. Usually the second set's easier to common factor. 2. And then if this works, the second bracket should be the same as the first bracket. That's when you'll know. That's when you finally take a deep breath and go, oh, it's going to be okay. Then my common factor is x plus 2, and my other set is 3x plus 2. And now I write a smiley face to go, well, okay, that wasn't so bad. I got to remember the AC thing, but it's still that multiply, add thing. And then as long as you know factor by grouping, decomp is good. If factoring by grouping you don't like, then decomp becomes very difficult. We're going to practice it like crazy. So if it's like on a scale of 1 to 100, you're like a 27 going, okay, I sort of follow what you did, but I don't think I can really do it myself. Yeah, then we're great. If you just sort of go, I sort of get that, we are in wonderful shape. And all my gloom and doom is wrong. It's going to be fine. But do you have questions about factoring by decomposition? Okay, friends, I encourage you to get out your highlighter or your red pen or whatever and highlight that. Because if you text me tonight and say, Mr. Todd, can you remind me of the steps of decomp? I will. I'll answer. But in part of my mind, I'll be like, yeah, well, I built some notes for you where I put that exact stuff in there. I don't get why you're asking me that. Yeah, okay, but I'll help you. Okay, but this is where we have to get to where it's like the notes sit on our desk as we do the homework. This is me doing my best to send you with some directions to go. Yeah? It's like if I give you a recipe for pancakes and send you home with it, and then you text me and say, Mr. Todd, how do I make pancakes? I'll be like, I don't think we're communicating very well. There's your pancake. Here's your factoring by decomposition recipe. Did I miss out in the photo? He was taking a photo. I missed out? Oh. Or did you the grade 11 say they automatically crop me out. Is it easy to crop now? It's like, oh, it's nice. I'm fair. Don't do it to other teachers, by the way. Some teachers, it bothers them. I'm so good looking, it doesn't matter to me. But other teachers, I understand, they get a little upset. Okay, this is called the window method, sometimes called box method on some websites. But I must tell you a secret that I don't think everyone understands as I try to switch to pen. This is sometimes called box method. It's just decomp. It's decomp for somebody where there's too much going on in decomp. They need something that breaks it down a little more. And actually, some people use box method for a little while until they get better at it, and then they switch over to decomp once they got the gist of it, okay? So, because box method, very, very similar. It's just a little more visual, okay? Common factor. Look at step one. Common factor if possible. Wait till reasoning day. On reasoning day, I'm like, what should we do first? And you're going to be like, common factor. That's step one of reasoning it. Find two numbers that multiply to AC and add to B. That's the same as decomp. You go over here and go, okay, AC. Someone in their own words, instead of me, what's AC in this question? 6 and 2. That's the A, the B, and the C. Are you getting used to this idea that we're calling these A, B, and C? They're not really A, B, and C, but we call them that so we all know what we're talking about. AC is 6 times 2, which is 12. She's already a step ahead of me. She already knows where we're going with this. Find the two numbers that multiply to 12 and add to 7. I'll write the extra steps. If your multiplication tables aren't going too well, 1, 12, no, that doesn't work. 2, 6, no, that doesn't work. 3, 4, they're there. And I encourage you to circle them and go, there, got it, 3 and 4. Write the first term of the expression in the top left. What? Write 6x squared up here. Write the last term of the expression in the bottom right. 2. Yeah? I'm not worried about those ones. I know 6x squared and 2. But the 7x, I'm not going to write 7x. I'm going to write it in two separate boxes based on this, 3x and 4x. Now really look at that, because hopefully you visual people will look at that and go, you know what, I really like how that looks. That's 6x squared plus 7x plus 2, just written in a different way. Then you common factor the column. You look down here and go, 6x squared and 3x, what's common to both 6x squared and 3x? What number divides into both 3 and 6? 3, and then an x. And then I look at the 4x and 2, and I go, what's common to 4x and to 2? 2. Now I must tell you, then you've got some choices. Some people do it differently with box method. You can do now common factor the rows, or you can just go, what's left? 3x times something is 6x squared. What do you multiply 3x by to get 6x squared? 2x. And then what do you multiply 3x by to get 3x? 1. And now I've got my answer. And when I write it down, don't panic, just look at the picture and look what I wrote long enough to go, oh! Now, I must tell you, window method people can't be convinced, cannot be convinced that it's not the best thing ever. They're visual people, and they just like how this looks, and it simplifies everything that's going on for them. I don't know if I got it right. I don't know. I'm only new at box method. How is it? How do I check? Foil. Foil's right there going, Foil's on the bench, jumping up and down going, me, put me in. I'll check it for you. It'll be okay. So you go underneath, you just write, okay, 3x times 2x is 6x squared. You start smiling already. Good, 6x squared. 3x times 1 is 3x. You're not happy yet. You're like, 2 times 2x is 4x. You're like, yeah. Miss Todd, you don't even have to mark it. I know it's right. I used foil. Tell me your questions. Can you see the similarities between box and decomp? If you want, box is visual decomp. If decomp's a little too much, it is. for a lot of people, decomp's a little too much going on to keep track of everything. Box method's like decomp with training wheels. You know, you're like, it's okay. If I get a little off track here, I got help here. Austin? The calf cookie game? Oh yeah, where we all stood around a calf cookie and smashed our heads together, yeah. I will gladly get a calf cookie and put it in the middle and watch you guys all smash your heads together. That would be entertaining. I get the feeling about half of this class will play and about half this class will just watch and go, I got to see how this turns out. Yeah? They'll be cheering against you, not for you, Mike. What's that? No, but I will make a deal. There's a day coming up in Trig where we're going to go outside and measure the heights of trees without getting anywhere close to them. Really. I'll show you a way to measure the height of a tree without getting anywhere close to it. And I'll buy everyone a cookie that day if you participate well, if you like really make an effort. Yeah, I'll have to make some reservations beforehand. I've done it before. I go down there and I'm like, I need 25 of these cookies tomorrow. Here's method 3. I call it Jedi factoring. Some people call it guess and check. In fact, there's a teacher at our school that calls it just use your brain. Yes? It really should be called unfoil. That's what it really should be called. That's the best name for it, is unfoil. This is for people, listen, if those numbers come to you and you can't even explain, like if I say 2 numbers that multiply to 24 and add to 10, if the numbers come to you like that, you might like this. It's faster, it's easier, but it needs you to have your multiplication tables ready to go. Ready? Get ready. It happens quickly, friends. You've got to be ready for this. You're going to love it or you're going to hate it. It's one of the others. Ready? Unfoil. I see the first term is 2x squared. I already know the first term in each bracket. I know. I don't have to guess. It's 2x and x. That's unfoiling. Now, if you're really clever, you're realizing that, well, you picked an easy one, Mr. Todd, with a 2x squared out there. If that was an 8x squared, you wouldn't know for sure. I know. This method will handle it. It just means that you'll have to play a little more. Then I look at the L in foil. I don't worry about oi. What are you talking about? Foil. I've got the f already. Yeah? 2x times x is 2x squared. I'm good. I'm going to fast forward to L. I need 2 numbers that multiply to 5. Well, there's only 2 numbers that multiply to 5. 5 and 1. So it's either 1, 5 or 5, 1. That's the only 2 possibilities. It's either this or it's the other way around. So here's what this method does. It goes, I don't know. Try 1 and 5. Try foiling it out and see if it's right. Let's check if it is. I'll go over here in another color and go, let's check if my answer's right. It's literally guess and check. Yes, it literally is, yeah. 2x times x is 2x squared. Okay, listen, friends. When you're checking this, don't check the f. Why would you check the f? You know that's going to be right. So there's a shorter method of this. I got to check the oi. That's what I really got to check. 2x times 5 is 10x. 1 times x is 1x. And then 5. Is 10 and 1 equal to 7? See? Some people aren't going to like this. They want it to go bang, bang, bang. That's what decomp does. Decomp goes bang, 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 answer. It's a little longer, but at least it goes right to the answer. You're going to have to go, no, that's not it. It must be this then. The 5 and 1 must be in the other locations. Let's learn our lesson about foiling this. Don't check the f. It's right. Check the oi. 2x times 1 is 2x. 5 times x is 5x. Is 2x and 5x equal to 7x? Yes, it is. There's my answer. And these can be a little messy. I'm okay with guess and check people that their answers are a little bit messy and disorganized as they think this through. But we need someone clever to put a warning label on this. Someone who sees the weakness of this. What kind of numbers are going to send this crazy? Negative numbers could be a problem. Big numbers could be a problem. When it was 2x squared, I already had a head start. If someone came out with one that was 12x squared, you might have to do a lot of tries before you get it. So you're going to have to decide. So here's the warning label. What kind of sign should I put on the, this would be my warning. Big numbers are challenging here. Decomp people are going to be zipping through big numbers. Big numbers aren't going to bother them that much. But big numbers here are going to be a challenge. Well, if I instead right now switch to a quiz, like Khan Academy video and go, oh, let's try one. How many people would try decomp right now? How many people would sort of be like box method type people? And how many people are going to guess and check this thing? Not too many. I think that's wise right now. After doing some decomp and doing a few, then you can start going, am I up to guessing and checking? Or better yet, if the numbers are small, I might guess and check. If the numbers aren't small, I'm going to carry on. So I will teach this one by decomp. We'll go through decomp again, and then I'll leave that one for you to try on your own in just a second, okay? One of those ones like, let's not wait around to find out. We'll do this one together, though. What's the first move in don't peek. See what you can remember. What's the first move in decomp? Find AC. You go over here and go AC. Especially easy if your own initials are actually AC. Then it's a little easier to remember, isn't it? Four times -5. You're like, oh, here we go with the negatives, Mr. Todd. Thank you very much. I was trying to be positive, and then you're making my life negative. What's next? -20. Now what?
We have to
Do the thing. Yeah, the multiplication thing. What multiplies -20, but adds to -8? She's good at them. Yeah, it's an advantage. I get the feeling if we played Mad Minute, you know, did you play Mad Minute when you were in school? 60 questions in 60 seconds, see if you can do the multiplication? Yeah? But she'd be in the final round. She'd be like, no? Yeah, all right. I'll make the list. 1 and -20. No. 2 and -10. Yes. Do you remember what to do with it? It's different with these ones. What do I do with the 2 and -10? Some peekers. That's good. Be a peeker. But what is it? That's what those instructions are there for. Yeah, you're going to take this thing and write it like this the first few times till you get used to it. So you see what the trickery is. Take this thing and break it into 2x minus 10x, like that. And if you're getting good at factoring by grouping, at that point you're like, you're happy. If you're not good at factoring by grouping, you want one more step before you're starting to feel good. Common factor the first set, and I'll do it quickly. Common factor out the negative, and that's when you should relax. When you go, oh, it's the same in both brackets. I rock. No, you human. 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 5. Easy? No, but extremely repetitive. Once you get it down pat, you got it down pat. But let's not wait around till tonight to find out you don't have a plan. Take that one and see what you can do. A longer timer this time. 2 full minutes, not to finish, but to see how far can I get on this thing. Ooh, I'll do a couple steps of this. Do I know what I'm doing? This is the problem.
How are you getting 15? It's -7. Oh, wait. 15. The only numbers we can multiply are 3 and 10.
So this number, you have to multiply to get to this, and not to get to this. You don't need to use zero to use any number.
That's not right. That's right. That's right. Well, that is right. Okay, never mind. Prime d prime r d r prime d prime r d r prime d prime r d r prime d prime r d.
You're using this number rather than
10 seconds on your, what did I say? 3 minutes? Did I give you 3 minutes?
he gives 2.
2. Is there enough time? No, it's not enough time. More. Incidentally, if you knocked that thing down already, seriously, reach back and pat yourself on the back or buy yourself a treat at lunch. Some of you are really hard on yourself sometimes, and that's fine, as long as you're kind to yourself as well when things go well. You know who I'm talking to out there. I'll start it. That's what I'll do, in case you're in trouble. If you did negative 15 first, it still works. Decomp's like, no problem, whichever way around you want. You don't have to choose the way I did. It'll play out a little differently, but you'll get the same answer. Are we ready? Common factor of the first set. I only get x in mine. Don't panic if you did a different setup. If you did negative 15 first and negative 2 second, you'll get some different stuff, but you better get the same answer. If you didn't, tell me and I'll immediately do it the other way. Then this one, ooh, got to take the negative with me. Ah, there it is. 3x minus 2 and x minus 5. If you got x minus 5 and 3x minus 2, well, that's the same. Is it good? But tell me, what questions, concerns, problems?
It still works.
It still works. Yeah, it still works. Yeah, absolutely. If you did it the other way around, it still works. You just get the factors the other way around, which is fine. Because listen, 5 times 6 is 30. 6 times 5 is 30. You know, multiplying things in different order doesn't change the result. And it won't change what we're doing when we go back to find x-intercepts now. That's where we're going with this. When we go back to find x-intercepts, we won't care which order we get the x-intercepts in. Yeah, we just need the 2 x-intercepts. Okay, I don't know where we're at in this lesson. It says page 7 and 9. Let me just see what's going on here. We get to do 2 more, and then 2 more. So let me go back and do this one with the box. Yeah? I'll try it with the box, okay? Here it is with the box. The box, you go AC, just like you did with decomp. I get negative 12. Just like with decomp, you find the 2 numbers that multiply to negative 12, but add to 1. So that's, let's see, 1 and negative 12, no. 2 and negative 6, no. 3 and negative 4. Ooh, 3 and negative 4. Add to negative 1. I want positive 1. So it's negative 3 and positive 4. Box method people, and some of you might be converting. You might have been like, I want to be a decomp person, but the first time through decomp, it was a little much. You're like, it's too busy. Give me something more visual. Box method. Slow down, Mr. Todd. Box method, you write the 6x squared up there. Not worried about the 6x squared. You write the negative 2 down there. And the only difference this time is these 2 numbers you've come up with, those are the 2 x terms you write in the boxes. So it's like negative 3x and 4x. But savor that for a minute. That is an incredible representation of that polynomial. It's a very good picture of that polynomial. Now, who remembers? I've only taught it once, but what do I do now with this? Yeah, common factor. Actually, you don't need to do columns. You could do rows. It doesn't really matter which way you do it. But I said columns. So I'm going to common factor here and common factor there. And then you got choices. You could common factor the other way, or you could just go, okay, so what do the other pieces have to be? 3x times something is 6x squared. That's 2x. 3x times something is negative 3x. That's sort of difficult, actually. It's so darn easy, it's difficult. What do you multiply 3x by to get negative 3x? A negative. So you need negative 1 there. Boom, right to your brackets. 3x plus 2 and 2x minus 1. But don't let me away with it if you don't see it. Stare at that for a minute and go, oh, I see it. I can visually see the answers on the screen there. Destiny. No, I will not force you to use one method over the other, because some people will change as well. Some people will go home tonight and go, you know what, I'm gonna do window. And then as they get better at window, I'm like, I don't need the window anymore, I'll just do decomp. And after doing decomp for a while, I'm like, my multiplication tables have come online, maybe I can just do guess and check for the easy ones. And so, no, I don't have a method. Now, here's the important thing. Show me some work though. That way, if you make a mistake, I can give you marks. Yeah? If you show the box in the window and you make one mistake on a negative or something like that, I can give you 2 out of 3 and go, she knows what she's doing, but she just missed a step this time. Same with guess and check. Show me all your guesses. So I go, yeah, they know what they're doing. Like, don't erase them, just strike them out. It makes a big mess. And that's okay for now, to have a big mess.
Would it matter if the negative 3 and 4 don't switch?
No. All that'll happen is you might get these in a different order, the two factors. You should get the same answer. If you don't get the same answer, something else has gone wrong. So it doesn't matter where you put these things. And you might build a strategy for yourself and go, if there's a negative, I'm putting it down here. There's a few little shortcuts out there like that going, where am I going to put the negative when there is one to make my life a little easier? But that's going to be experience, I think. You have to do a few of them to get used to it. That's why I begged for homework yesterday. Of any lesson you've learned in high school so far, this begs to do homework. It's like, yep, it's good. I sort of get the gist of it, but you're going to have to practice or you won't be able to land these things. Okay? All right, well, I'm not trying to show off. Sorry, I am going to try and show off here, but I'm not trying to show off how smart I am. I'm going to show off that guess and check can handle even big numbers like this if I want. Here's me doing guess and check on this one, okay? I look at it and I go, okay, well, here's my first try at it. 10x squared plus minus x minus 3. If it's 10x squared, I think maybe 5x and 2x would work. So then I need a 3 and a 1. So I'm going to try, let's see, I'm going to try 3 over here and negative 1 over there. I'm not going to check the f or the l. I'm going to check the oi and see if it works. 15x minus 2x. That's not minus x. Okay? So let me try it the other way around, as long as I'm at it. 5x plus 2. 2x, whoop, not 2, sorry. It was the 3. 5x plus 3, I'm going to put the 3 over here and put the 1 over there. 10x squared, no, don't check that. Check the inside. 6x minus 5x is 1x. I'm really close now, but that's not right. So it's 5x minus 3, 2x plus 1. It works. Now, I'm not trying to convince you to do this method. 100% not. I have no opinion whatsoever on what method you should use. But I am trying to show you that guess and check, would I win a race against a decomp person even with big numbers? I think I would. So it can be very fast, and it's certainly awesome for small numbers. When the numbers are small, like 2s and 3s, guess and check can go really, really fast and really, really well. Okay? But you choose. Up to you. Okay? Some people at this point are like, no way, no how am I doing that. I'm doing decomp, and there's grade 12s. Some of my smartest students in grade 12 are like, no thank you, I'll just decomp. Other people migrate over. After doing a bunch of decomp, they go, you know what, I'm getting better with the numbers, I think I can handle guess and check now. I don't know what your grade 11 teacher's going to tell you. I have no idea. You won't care. You'll be like, I can do it my way. I don't care what they say. Last two. Troublesome ones. Just when you thought it couldn't get worse, here we go. I'm going to start teaching the reasoning lesson right now. What should I look for first? Check for a common factor. Does this thing have a common factor? Is there a number that divides into 18 and into 3 and into 15? Yes, 3. If we're going to have to do this decomp thing, let's at least get the numbers as small as we can. The bigger the numbers are, the harder it's going to be. So even if it's not a common factor that makes the question easy, at least it'll make it easier. 18x squared minus 3x minus 15. Good. Now, it's voting time, so I know what to teach. Where are you at right now? Decomp? How many people are decomp? Window? Guess and check. All right. Decomp 1. It doesn't always win. Usually window wins, actually. Usually people are like, let's just stick to window for now. I'll do both at once. That's what I'll do. We got time? Yeah? I'll do both at once. Both methods have AC, which is negative 30. 6 times negative 5. Both methods make you find the numbers that multiply to negative 30 and add to negative 1. Is it coming better? Is it starting to happen where it's like, oh, maybe I'm better at my multiplication tables than I, oops. I just threw a whole bunch of stuff in the trash there. Hold on. Can I get it back? Yes. 1 and negative 30? No. 2 and negative 15? No. 3 and negative 10? No. 5 and negative 6? Yeah, there they are. So both decomp and window or box, you do the steps the same. Decomp people all continue to work in green, and then I'll switch over to red for window people. Decomp people then go, okay, so that's, don't forget the 6. 6x squared plus 5x minus 6x minus 5. Hold on, pause. Decomp people, if you have one positive and one negative, you might find life easier if you put the negative first. You don't have to do that, but that's just my one little tip I have that might make your life easier, is to put the negative 1 first. That makes life a little tiny bit easier with dealing with the negatives, if negatives are a problem for you. Because now, common factor of the first set, 6x, x minus 1. Common factor of the second set, 5 and x minus 1. And then I get this. Okay, and I promise to do the same thing in red. Window people instead will build a nice window here, and they would have gone 6x squared, put the minus 5 down there, and they would have gone 5x minus 6x. Why did that jump like that? I want it down there. Common factor of the column, 6x. Common factor of the second column, 5. And then find out what's left over, x and negative 1. So they'd have this separate little picture out there, and they would skip all of this work. Okay. You don't like window? Yeah. It's usually closer to 50-50. This class was a little more decomp than window, but visual people will like window a lot more. But can you see they're doing the same things? Like, it really is the same things. Toughest question of the day coming right up. I know I'm asking a lot. It's been a long lesson for us. What's the first step? Because this looks, it's got a degree 3. You're like, Miss Todd, we're doing quadratics. You're breaking loose a little bit here when you say that we should factor this when it's not a quadratic. I'm like, well, I know. Let's just push the limits a little bit and look for that common factor. What's common to all of them? Nothing. No number divides into 5, 17, and 6. What about the x's? X does factor out. And I encourage you, Take the negative with you that's out there. Yeah, right, you will. Are you the one that calls it use your brain factoring?
Yeah.
Yes. We just did. The brain, oh, just not use your brain. You took the use your out?
Well, sometimes. That's the only way I know how. When they come to me with these weird boxes and houses, I don't know what to do.
Very good chance you might have Miss Mucky in grade 11, and you hear what she's saying about it. It's like, by then, a lot of people are use your brain method. No, that's not true. She's not going to necessarily remember how to do all this. So if you know how to do this and you're getting the answers, then she doesn't care. She's happy about that. But if you're going to ask her, she's going to teach you use your brain. Yeah? All right. So what do I get out of this now? 5x squared minus 17x plus 6. And for a moment, you're like, yo, factoring that negative off is painful. It is, but it's worth it. Yes? It's like getting your vaccine. It's painful, but it's worth it. Because now look at this. This is nice. It's a nice little decomp question. But one more time, because the grade 11 teacher was just here, and she'll talk about use your brain. Here's me. Showing off the method. Not how smart I am, showing off the method. The method says, make 2 brackets and see if you can make it work. Good news, 5x squared. 5 is a prime number. Yeah, there's not multiple combinations. I know already the answer looks like that. Can you see through this, though? If it's got to multiply to a positive and the middle term's negative, I'm looking for 2 negative numbers. It only can be 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Can it be 1 and 6? Watch me do it. 1 and 6? I'm not even going to write it down. No? 6 and 1? No. 2 and 3. You've inspired us. We're doing use your brain on the last one, Ms. Malecki. She returned it.
You have to be able to hold a couple numbers in your head.
Yeah. She's good. She's good.
Approximately 80% of you know, 20%.
I don't know what she said. 3 and 2. 3 and 2. It's got to be 3 and 2. 3 here and 2 there. 15 and 17. Yeah, see, that's what she's talking about. You got to be able to do 2 numbers in your head at the same time. Yeah? So that's 3 and 2. I am not encouraging you to do that tonight and saying, oh, if you're a smart kid, you got to do this. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying after decomp and window and working your way through, at some point you're like, I get what's got to be accomplished here. Maybe on some of the easier ones. This wasn't an easy one. But on some of the easier ones, maybe I can just use my brain. Yeah. Okay, I'm on both knees today. I'm not praying. I'm not praying. I'm begging. I'm begging you, friends, to dedicate some time. Not, oh, I'll put on a show while I do my homework. Yeah? Or in between, I'll play some Clash of the Clans or something. Challenge yourself. Do I have between an hour, maybe it won't be more than an hour. Do I have an hour of focus time? Do you know what focus time looks like? Nothing else around, just you and the homework and trying this out for an hour. Please, please, not because I'm your teacher, not because I got to mark your test in a week. No, none of those reasons. For you, I'm begging for you to do the right things here and knock this thing down. Question? Concern? What? Oh, yeah. I got you. I don't know. It's 11:26. I used up all my time. I'll try.